Hey YouTube, this is The Art of Prepping. Thanks for joining me on Prepper Quick Tips. Here's a few ways to create barriers between your home, especially your front door, and the street. This is useful for suburban areas and rural areas. Some of these things you may already have. Some of them they could be acquired over time for very little or no money if you scavenge these items. So first of all, you could dig with just a standard shovel, a ditch. A ditch deep enough and wide enough that it could bottom out the average passenger vehicle. It could be anywhere from 18 to 24 inches wide and deep. That's up to you. This could be a little bit more labor intensive depending on how much property that you need to trench out. And it may not be as applicable if you have a concrete or asphalt driveway, but you could also use other things to block the driveway and have a trench on each side of the driveway in your yard, especially if the yard is open and it leads right to your front door. And the next thing would be steel rebar. You could pound that in the ground 2 to 3 feet and leave a foot or two out, sticking out of the ground, if you will, and you could sharpen the ends. This could definitely be used in rock driveways or dirt driveways and all through the yards, especially open yards. The next could be down trees. Trees are going to be something that if you already have them down, you could just move them into place if you have a team of people. Or if you had to, you could cut down trees. I've even heard in some books, in an extreme emergency, especially if the power and the grid is already down, cutting telephone poles down. But I wouldn't recommend doing that unless it's the last resort to create a barrier. The next thing is going to be concrete blocks. It could be solid core or it could be hollow core concrete blocks. They could be littered across your yard and driveway as a barrier to keep cars from just coming up to your front door, especially if they're uninvited people. And they could also be staked in the ground, especially the ones that have the hollow center. And those could be a deterrent. And lastly, though, you could also use fence posts. This creates a little bit more bulk if you're trying to store that. But if you have a very narrow yard and there's only one way into your property, this could be something that you could dig small holes. It could be 2 or 3 feet deep and put several of these in together and bind them with wire. And even if you can get some cable wire or any kind of like high tensile strength wire and basically bring them and join them together with the other post. So as you go down, you kind of make a very small makeshift fence line. Now this particular fence or this post, they could even be cut in half. It doesn't have to stick out much more than maybe a foot or two out of the ground. All we're doing is having something to slow down or to arrest the vehicles so they don't just come up from the road up to your front, of your door. And so they don't have to be very tall. It's just enough of a barrier to cause resistance against vehicles. So you want them deep in the ground and you want several posts in one location for the maximum strength. So these are just some ideas. Worst case scenario, hopefully we'll never have to do any of this. But when we're talking about keeping people away from our house, we have to start from the road first. That's why a lot of people like to have perimeter security, a fence, a gate, dogs, cameras, passive motion sensors to give you a little heads up and a little bit of resistance before someone's knocking on your front door or maybe banging on your front door and breaking out windows. You don't want your front door to be your first line of defense. They're already too close. Hopefully this helps. You guys take care.